Yo, what's going on? It's your man Jay Blaze here, the Daddy Dialogue Podcast. And today is a really special edition of the Daddy Dialogue Podcast. I look like a student, don't I, Anna?
You do.
I do. Let me take half of my headphones off so I make sense here and I can hear you. Today is a teacher takeover edition, and I am highly excited to finally get to do this. We're in my city. I won't say where we're at, but it doesn't matter. Regardless of, we're in a classroom, which is cool, right? Don't you see like the desk and the whole vibe?
Love the vibe.
Just trying to switch it up for the kids out here. That's what I'm talking about. And today we are definitely getting into some great things, things that I know a lot of our dads and parents that really enjoy some of the things we talk about. And I've been excited because people have been joining the newsletter. Do you know anything about the newsletter?
I do. I get it every
week.
week.
So you actually signed up.
Yes.
There's much respect there. See?
Yeah.
You could have been like some of these friends I have on here that are watching that don't subscribe.
I'm not going to be that friend.
There you go.
I'm not.
You're a good friend. This is good. Okay, cool. Awesome. So the newsletter goes out for people that don't know and you're watching this video for the first time or you're new to the podcast. We have a newsletter that goes out every Saturday morning with tips and tricks for parents. Not saying that I'm an expert, but I'm saying there's some things I've been through, Anna.
Yes.
We've been through.
Yes.
Well, you don't got no kids yet, but
No.
you're a teacher and you got some insight that some other people can't
Absolutely.
have, which I think is amazing. And so, I eventually plan to get you on the newsletter too.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't that be dope?
Yeah.
Like get a
I'd
little
love
spot
to.
where we could like put a teacher insight.
Yeah, that'd be
Especially,
fantastic.
I've been thinking about like, and I know we haven't even talked about the topic yet, but I know because school is starting soon for a lot of kids, some tips and tricks for like, yeah, we're going to do that.
Okay.
Because you like to write.
I'm
You're
down,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, you get it in. Okay, this is good. You got to do these things live. You guys are figuring this stuff out. But today we are talking about some great things that I think are amazing, especially when it comes to the new year.
Yeah.
And me and you were talking and you were telling me that you thought it was really important to have the right kind of mindset when we're going into the new year.
Absolutely.
I need to see. So today it's the teacher takeover, Anita,
Yes.
and you have the floor. You're rocking the set. I probably have some questions here and there, but this is all you because I want people to you know what I mean, get ready. Who better than to prepare you for school than a teacher?
Absolutely.
And so shout out to all the teachers because you're like one of 4 friends that I have that are teachers.
Yeah.
Yes, they're all mad. But you seem to be the happiest out of the 4.
Okay,
so that's a good.
That's why you picked me. Got it. All right.
You're still good. You're still
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It hasn't been that
Or
many
I'm
years.
hiding the madness.
I'm
That's
not-
all.
No.
Hiding the anger.
Let me fix my words because some of my friends are going to come for my neck. They're not mad. They've been teachers for a really long time.
Yeah.
And there are different stages. And they also all teach at different grade levels. So
Yeah.
it is different from what I've
Yeah,
realized.
I feel that. There's definitely a difference between grade levels and all that stuff.
Yeah. So talk to me. How do we prepare ourselves? Or first of all, tell me what you plan to talk about today so I could get excited about some of the things we can get ready for school.
All right. So I know you're really big on working on kids and their confidence. And I
Yes.
think that is something you should probably focus on even more than what we typically look at, like buying the supplies, getting new clothes. I think that's the focus at the beginning of the year, getting ready for school.
Yeah.
It's like back to school, Walmart's full of everything. And you're like, okay, we got to buy notebooks and pencils and markers and all that stuff. But I think we have to like kind of step back, not get caught up with the materialism and the regular, typical school prep.
This is good because this is different. I've never heard this
Absolutely.
approach.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think now we've come as a society to recognize that mental health is really important.
Yes, it is.
And we need to focus on our children's mental health. And preparing them for school would be preparing them mentally and emotionally so that whatever's going to come up in that year, they are, not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally ready to handle what's coming up.
This is exciting. Like, so instead of just being nicely dressed, mentally they're prepared. No,
Yeah.
because you're right. That kind of hype
Yeah.
and the pressure that I remember when I was a kid, like, I don't know if you did this. I'm going to say this because I know every kid does in the hood, at least. When you bought your new clothes and your shoes, you would put them on your
That
bed.
was it, yeah.
Yeah, the day
Yeah.
before school,
Same,
you
yeah.
would like put them.
I was already planning, like, into the summer. I'm like, all right, what am I going to wear the first day of school? I want to get these shoes. I want to
Yes.
get these. I want to get that. And then I go to my parents with my list, and they're like, nah, you're not getting that.
Yeah.
You're not getting that. You're not getting that. So I'm like, all right, I'll work with what I get. And then that's what I would do. But yeah, we were super excited
But
about
it's cool. So we're not just going to look cool for school. We're going to be mentally ready to, to sort of dominate for the beginning of the year.
Because you forget over the summer, it's like you're in a bubble. You forget about the bullying. You forget about the kids that mess with you. You're just like, I'm happy to not be there. And then you get the hype of getting your new outfit, your new book bag, your new sneakers. And then you come in and you're like, oh, I forgot about all of this. And then you get all the emotional issues coming, and then struggles with their teachers and not feeling good enough. So let's focus on that too, that we could work over the summer, not just like the week
it
before.
seems like you're going to equip me with some tools.
Absolutely.
To prepare my son. So now let's just use Josiah, because we use him as every example out here. My son Josiah, who's about to be 10, his birthday's in a week. Shout out to Josiah, who does the Snacky Lacky reviews. He is, so I'm going to tell me what I need to do to prepare my son mentally, spiritually for this new school year.
Okay, so the first thing I have on my list is that you start with yourself.
Okay.
If you are a parent who is constantly talking down to yourself, your child is going to model what you do. Your child is going to copy the same exact things that you do, the way you talk to yourself, like, oh man, I'm this, or I'm that, or oh, this is so stupid, or oh, like whenever you talk to yourself like that, your kid learns, oh, that's how I have to talk about myself. And every time your child messes up, they're going to be like, oh, I'm so stupid, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that.
Because they hear their parents say
they heard you say it, yeah. So it's really important that, if you really want this to work in the long run and not just be superficial, because your kids know when there's a rat. They know that if you act like, oh, do the right thing, and they see you doing something that, oh, but that's not right, Daddy. Why are you doing that? They're going to hold you accountable, and then you're going to have to either lie or come up with it's all a lie if you're trying to come up with something to make them think that it's okay. But kids know, and they know when you don't feel good about yourself, and they're going to be like, well, if my dad feels bad about this, I'm like my dad in this way, so I'm going to feel bad about this. So they will carry whatever your issues are if you don't address them for yourself.
It almost puts pressure on the parents to make sure mentally they're at the right place.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because, or at least to have some accountability, to be like, every week there's a check. I remember when I used to work for an organization where literally before the meeting started, there was like a gauge from 1 to 5, and you were either happy or extremely sad. And I thought it was a joke. I was like, heck, though, like, who really cares? But you really have to gauge it. And I think it's cool you say this, because even with our kids, it sort of gives accountability to us to make sure that the things we're saying out of our mouth, like, empower our kids or affirm them before. It's okay, cool. You know what I mean? I got to get this almost seems like a checklist. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So start with yourself. And then second thing is, I want to tell you a story about my dad. Every day we would go to school. Our school was like very close to where we lived. And so he would drop us off, but he didn't just drop us off. He's like, all right, it's time to worship the Lord. And he would turn off the radio.
Wait. You just said that so briskly, like, whatever. Espérate, pero dímelo. Did he say it in Spanish?
No.
English?
He grew up in New York.
But he said it just like that?
Like,
let's praise the Lord?
Let's praise the Lord. Yeah.
Oh, geez. What does this look like? Wait, so you're going to school with your sister?
Yeah. So we're in the back seat, dressed up in our little uniforms, ready to go to school.
You were going to a Christian school. That's right. You told me this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were like, but whether we were going to Christian in public, it didn't matter because we went to both.
You were going to worship the Lord.
So we were going to worship the Lord. So we were in the back, and he turned off whatever we were listening to, probably like 89.7 back then.
Yeah, Spirit FM.
There we go. And so he would like turn it off, and then he was like, all right, let's worship. And so he would sing, I'll sing and praise the Lord. Like the old school worship songs.
Ay, Dios mío,
for he is so good.
Wait, but so how many... So wait, let me get this right. So you guys are on your way to school, and right at the parking lot of the school.
No, on our way there.
On our way there.
Yeah. So
you know it was coming.
So the music was already on when we got in the car. It went for a few minutes, and then he's like, all right, time to praise the Lord. And there was like a long wait to get out of our community.
Would you and your sister get pissed like when that happened?
I would get annoyed. I would get annoyed.
Did you just like fake sing it like if you're at church?
Sometimes.
Yeah, would your dad get hot if
he didn't hear us sing, he would like, sing. You guys need to sing. And we're just like, I'll sing and praise the Lord, for he is so good. Or whatever song he wanted us to sing.
Ay, Dios mío, this is gold.
And then we would pray. And he's like, all right, Anita, you pray. And then Christy, you pray. So then everybody had to pray. We did that every morning on our way to school. We didn't always want to because, like, I'm not a morning person, and I didn't like talking in the morning.
Yeah, so you didn't want to.
I was just like, like, why do we have to do this?
Wait, so how long did this go for, Anita? Like, how
Years.
to what age or what grade do you remember still having to sing that song?
I'm gonna say probably until like about 6th grade. When I was in 6th grade, 7th grade.
Stopped.
Yeah, either my mom started taking us. I don't remember what happened, but it stopped.
But I will say this. In a way, I'm clowning it, but in a way, I think it's extremely powerful. I know we could like say whatever, but I'm gonna get emotional. I'm thinking about like if I was doing that with my child. There's things that my mom does to this day. She sings these hymns to him, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" But they're so powerful.
Yeah.
So I want to ask. And it's not even on the notes. How has it impacted you now at your age? I know we laugh about it, but it's like something he instilled in you to this day.
Yeah, I don't think we can even tell how big of an impact it has had on our lives, because it's a spiritual thing. And it's like, there's so many little things, like little rituals, because that's the second point, is to create rituals with your kids that you will continue to do, that instill affirmations or instill that positive feeling of being loved and accepted. And so having that time with my dad, it showed us his priorities. It showed us what our priorities were as a family. And as just human beings, who we put first. So when you put God as a priority in that sense, and just taking that was probably about 10, 15 minutes in the mornings for the drop off. That ultimately, I mean, that's a core memory. That's something, even though I remember that I didn't like it in the moment.
No, but you look
I'm
how
going to do
vividly.
that with my kids eventually.
Oh, for sure. Shoot, I'm about to steal it.
Yeah.
Keep playing. No, I mean, because it's one of those old things that we take for granted that was like golden for like really instilling. Because remember, and we talk about this all the time, what you're not instilling in your kid, the world gets that space.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like I clown it and I laugh because it's like vieja escuela type stuff. Like it reminds me of my grandfather, some of the things he would do, and I'd be like, bro, what are you doing?
And it creates connection. It creates like those those memories and traditions have been proven to make people feel like more loved and more accepted. Feeling as you're part of something creates that feeling of belonging, knowing that you belong to someone, because we have so much suicide and people who feel alone, and because our society's lost those traditions, because we don't find anything sacred anymore.
Nothing.
And so because we've lost those things that were, primitive, like having traditions, it's like now if you create those traditions with your children, you're building bonds that will go on for generations. So I think having that, being able to look back and be like, I'm connected to them in this certain way, like you said, from the old school, like I'm connected to my abuela through this, and it just makes you feel more like whole as a person.
So building rituals. I'm trying to think of something I do with my son that he is used to doing. There's things I say to him that he, it's like a father-son thing. It's hilarious. He loves it to this day, and he still treasures it. Yeah. We do two things. I think one thing that I remember that we still to this. I'm trying to think one thing that I can solidify that I do a lot with Josiah that is cemented. Well,
and just to say, like, it doesn't have to be like in depth. Doesn't have to be long. Just has to be consistent.
I think
maybe
that's
even
the key.
Quick and catchy. If it's a thing like you are loved, you are accepted, you can always come to me no matter what, and I'm like make it rhyme so that
I know somebody who a good friend of mine. She tells her kids. She used to say this on the air on the radio. She used to tell some parents. It's a long spiel, and I think it's a Bible verse. I'm not 100% sure. You're not the head. You're the tail. You're not the tail. You're the head. I mean, it's a whole. But parents loved it.
Yeah.
But these small rituals, I don't know if I'm doing the whole like let's praise the Lord, but which it was still. I mean, shout out to your dad. I'm not gonna lie. Like it takes like knowing who you really are in God to do that with your kids, and sometimes and this is important. I think a lot of parents should hear this. Sometimes the things you think are crazy to your kids will be impactful for their lives forever. Yeah. We can laugh about it. But there's things my dad did when I was small, like the way my dad was affectionate with me to this day. Like I remember a couple years ago, I was in my dad's business, and he gave me a kiss on the cheek and a hug. And there were some people there, and this guy started crying, and he was like, oh, my God, I can't believe that at your age, you're still giving your father, you still give your dad a kiss. My dad never gave me a kiss. And the guy gave me a tip, like a $50 tip here. This is amazing. And I was like blown away. To me, it's natural.
Yeah.
But I saw that when I was small. And I tell people all this. I tell people this all the time, and I reiterate it over and over. We'll get back to your next point. Whatever you're doing in private, your kid is going to show publicly.
Yeah.
And so if you're affectionate with them privately, and it's like my wife, like the way I treat my wife privately is how my son is going to do it publicly. And thank God.
Yeah. And we don't recognize what happens when there's a lack of those things in their lives. Because there's been studies about babies that are not touched. How do they, grow up and become and it's very difficult for them to bond with other people and relationships and all that. So it's like that warmth and that love that you show through your little positive family tradition or ritual, that is going to make a big impact, even if you don't see it immediately, or even if you're not even sure what impact it's having. But it's kind of an act of faith. You're doing it by faith. God honors that faith. So it's going to do something.
So that's number 2. I'm keeping a ritual. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell my son to praise the Lord when we drive to school.
Son, let's praise the Lord.
It seems funny, but it's legit. Not gonna lie.
And then you put Kirk Franklin or whatever.
You want me to switch it up? Yeah, we're in a new age. We can switch it up. There's a lot of options.
So my third point is to create opportunities for them to be challenged and for them to win.
Okay.
How do you feel when you get a win?
You feel amazing.
You feel amazing. And then
and you feel empowered.
You feel empowered. And then you can look back and be like, I did this and I did this and I've done that. And so those wins are like your evidence of competence. And when you have that evidence of competence, you feel confidence. And I heard Alex Hormozi, he said something like that. I'm not going to quote him exactly, but what he said was, confidence isn't just saying that you can do something. Confidence is having a record of things that you've accomplished and being able to look back and see that you did them. So that gives you the confidence to do whatever it is you want to do. So with your kids, sometimes we just let them be. And from what I've seen, like with my students and stuff, and it's like you just let them be and they do stuff, but they don't always look to challenge themselves anymore. They just go for what's easy. And so doing easy things all the time is not building their confidence. It's just distracting them. It's entertaining them. So when they run into an issue where someone's bullying them or someone's talking bad about them or insulting them, they don't have that confidence to be like, I don't care what you say about me. I've done this, and this. I'm great. They don't have that because they just like, well, I play video games all day and
they don't know. Yeah, they don't have any clue of who they are.
Exactly.
Because you haven't affirmed the foundation of who they. It's highly interesting you say that because I'm living in this moment in the season with my son where he's looking for that affirmation. And it's almost like extremely pivotal that I'm careful how I relate. Example, Anna, we go to jiu-jitsu 3 times a week, right? Sometimes he does amazing. He's dominating. Some days he's just getting killed. Like little kids are slamming him. Yeah. It's bad. But he constantly, we get in the car and the first thing, how did I do, Daddy? And he's looking me dead in the eye, and it's pressure. You're like, buddy, you got slammed on your neck. But but I've learned. One day I messed up. I didn't mess up. What I did was I was extremely honest. I was like, look, bro, you're coming here and you're playing around. You're not taking this serious. Yeah. And so I started dialoguing about, look, bro, this is serious. We got to pay for this. This is not free. I got to come. Like if you don't want to come here and take this serious, we can go put your little suit on for jiu-jitsu and you can tumble at the house for free. Yeah. Like we don't have to pay for an instructor. Yeah. And so then he realized, oh snap, this costs something, it has value. Yeah. And so I got to come in here and do my thing.
Where was the mistake though there?
The mistake was that I felt like he wasn't ready and I didn't.
To hear that?
Yeah. And it caught him off guard. I think he was going to hear like a quick, yes, son, you're doing great. Yeah. Or no, you're doing, and I wasn't. I was like, look, bro, you want me to keep it real? And yeah, daddy, yeah. And I was like, look, bro, you're getting, and from that moment, I just felt bad. I don't think I did bad. I
wouldn't say you made a mistake.
I felt bad. I felt bad. I was like, soy horrible. Yeah. But, from there, it changed. Like, he looked at it like, oh, there's value. Like, I got to come in here and do my thing. And I said, like, you play around with me, but as soon as we get on this mat, these kids are slamming. You're not taking me serious. Like, and we're paying for you to get slammed. Like, come on, bro. Like, do your thing. And it's not that I'm pushing him to be like, yo, just dominate and kill kids and do your thing. I'm more like, but put some effort. Like, give it a try. Like, I tell him all the time, son, if you don't want to do it, we don't have to do this. Exactly. You're good. You don't feel like you want to do jiu-jitsu, bro? No, vamos. Hacemos otra cosa. We try soccer. We try something else. Yeah. I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on my kid. Yeah. But I want to know if you're having fun. Are you enjoying this? And then I've realized now, and it's pretty bad because now, after 2 months, he's talking a little spicy. He's talking a little aggressive. Yeah. The confidence is a little different because now he's slamming kids and this and that. And so he's still nice at heart and how he moves, but it's now I'm realizing that when he's asking me these moments, like they're really, now I don't want to, I'm real careful of what I say, and I got to be generally really honest because he's analyzing everything. Like, what did he say?
And that's good.
Yeah, which I think is great, but
Yeah.
I think because he's going from 9 to 10, he's getting a little older, he's thinking a little more open. Especially when you say like affirming and giving them like the power to be like, be ready for what's coming, he's looking for it. And I think I say this, and I'm going to use this on a lot of our podcasts. I think it's really important. Pivotal parenting moments where people, like, it's a pivotal moment for your kid to really understand the affirmation of where he's at, like where he's moving, his identity. Because you're right, when a bully comes, like I tell my kid all the time, like, you give them the power if you let them, if you just accept whatever they're telling you.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay, son. They're going to say worse.
Exactly.
So just prepárate and don't, we already know who you are, who God has created you to be. And son, you're amazing. You're a print. I tell him all the time, but I know when he's asking me, he's looking like, and your kids, when sometimes you're right, we just don't say jack to our kids.
Yeah.
And we're leaving, it's like a canvas that is blank.
Yeah.
And you have put no kind of imprint on it whatsoever. And so guess what? YouTube is doing that.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast.
Exactly.
And whoever else is out here as an influence is pretty much, they're painting the canvas.
If they don't get their coaching from you,
it's
they'll
coming.
get it from somebody else. That's what
Muchacho,
they want.
and then you're tripping when you're hearing stuff that you're not supposed to be hearing.
Yeah.
Or like, where did that come
What
from?
are you doing? Why are you acting like
yeah.
that? Where'd you get that from? Well, you left me alone and I started watching YouTube. So that's pretty much it.
Pretty much, they're my coaches.
Yeah.
They're
But
mommy
that's
and
the
daddy.
thing. You have to find the balance as a parent. Your goal isn't to tell your kid, you're great, you're awesome all the time. The point is, what's really great is that you have that opportunity with jiu-jitsu because he can improve. So when he messes up or he's not doing so well that day, that's your opportunity. You don't have to be like, you're a winner, you're great. No, you can say, all right, let's talk about a few things. We're here to improve, right? We're here to get better. So let me, just the way you did it. You took that opportunity to tell your son how he could get better, what he needs to work on. And that's feedback. And that helps you grow, and that helps you become a teachable person. So he's going to be a productive person in society who will be confident, know who he is, and be likable because he understands he's not the best in the world, but he does have some wins. And he knows how to grow from those, negative points or negative things that may be happening and whatever it is he's trying to do.
I love the fact that we can always, as parents, and I think this is really important to say too. It depends on the age, because yo creo que at 5 or 6, he's not really ready for it. He's not paying attention.
You have to do things at their level.
Exactly.
Like as a 5-year-old, there are things that they can learn, and you just talk to them at their level, and they may not get it, but you're already building that practice. Because once they get to like 10, it's hard to talk to them that way when you haven't talked to them at all.
How does that sort of play out? And I know this is a little left field, but it's sort of in the same vein. How does that help with the dynamic of new school year happening and you have a student who may not be strong? Like I know you gauge when you have I guess you guys do some tests or some things at the beginning of the year to sort of assess where they're at. How do you do to empower slowly some of your students when you know they may be lacking in certain areas to get them to sort of feel empowered to do better in school?
Well, like you said, we do our battery tests in the beginning of the year, and then we see where they're at. Then that's the thing. We try to give them some wins. We try to do things that are either they're not too hard, but they'll give them a little challenge so that they know it wasn't, this was so easy. That's why I was able to do well. Because kids know. But you give them things that little by little challenge them and you encourage them. Even though if there's a struggle, you encourage them through the struggle. Be like, don't give up. You have it. I see this. I see that you have that part of the problem. Okay, just keep going. And then once they get it, even though you coach them through it, they feel great because now they've accomplished something. And you're like, see, you could do it. So it's that constant, coaching, being on them, watching them, giving them that positive reinforcement, giving them things that match their level or a little bit harder than their level and trying to bring them up.
Get them to, that way they see that there's some progress from where they started.
Because they need to feel like they're progressing. If they don't feel like they're progressing or that they have wins, then they're just going to get, disillusioned. They give up. They don't want to do anything anymore.
So getting ready for the school year, number one was?
Number one was start with you. Start with you as a parent.
The things you're saying out of your pie hole.
Exactly.
Okay.
Start loving yourself so that your kid knows how to love themselves when they see you loving yourself.
Number 2, rituals. Praise the Lord.
Yes. Praise the Lord. Create a positive family ritual.
Shout out to your dad. I can't believe it.
Yes. Turn off the radio and start praising the Lord.
Wow.
Number 3 was create opportunities for them to be challenged so that they could get a win.
So these are the 3 tips you need to start the school year. I'm excited because I think these are so different than just having new, because you know how it is. These next couple of weeks, people are going crazy. I gotta get new sneakers for my kid, and these new jeans and new shirts.
It's gonna be wild out there.
Yeah, so these are great tools for you to use for the new school year. Anita, thank you so much. I feel like Josiah is going to be prepared for the new school year.
Yes, he is.
And I just got to make sure that we praise the Lord when we're going to
Absolutely,
school.
you're already there.
All right, bye. We'll be right back right here on the Daddy Dialogue Podcast.